what you wanna hear. It's not what you need to hear.
I zoom into some TikToks and podcasts tagged as relationship counselors, and all I see are limiting beliefs. Beliefs that will limit their followers, the ones who are buying their narrative, restrain them from experiencing love at its fullest or even getting to know what love is. There are so many TikToks, so many podcasts, so many media hosts who seem to know it all about relationships now, and not all of them know the truth. In fact, most of them are speaking based on bitter love experiences. They have made this compendium of ideals that they believe is right, that they believe is what a woman is or what a man is, and they rely on this knowledge that they feel is standard proof. But this knowledge is a truth that is not actually the truth, but simply something they came up with because life treated them in a certain way, relationships treated them in a certain way, and now they feel that that is the truth, even though it's not the truth. It's only their truth. And they say these limiting beliefs as if they are solid truth. And people gather and cheer them. And a lot of people who agree with them are people who have experienced what they have experienced, people who are living life from their perspective. But then there are those who have not experienced what they have experienced, and those people are proof that what they are saying is not solid truth, but simply truth that is based from their own life. Check out one of these limiting beliefs. A man makes more money and wants to provide for his family. A woman makes more money and thinks she does not need a man. This is a limiting belief because it's not an ultimate truth. Instead, it is truth by a certain perspective, the perspective of someone who has gone through a bitter experience with women, someone who attracted certain kinds of women based on certain kinds of trauma, based on the kinds of influences they had while growing up, based on how their life was from childhood to adulthood, based on how they were raised, based on a certain number of factors which predisposed them from seeing certain kinds of women attractive. Unfortunately, those certain kinds of women are the same women who manifest this kind of behavior, and they believe all women are like that. And then they round all women under one umbrella, an umbrella which is actually just their own narrative based on their own bitter life experience with women. This limiting belief is the number one reducer and inhibitor of unconditional love, and it's sad that this limiting belief just creates a shadow self within the masculine that feels that any woman in his life succeeding gloriously is wrong. And like I said, this limiting belief is the number one reducer and inhibitor of unconditional love, and there's already a limiting belief being peddled that unconditional love does not exist, which is not true, because contrary to what the red pill told you, unconditional love does exist. If it didn't exist, you would not even exist. You would not even be alive, because unconditional love brought you into this world and cared for you. Without unconditional love, you wouldn't even be here. And yet, this limiting belief is being peddled. It has been peddled for generations, but it's becoming popular again. It leads to negative thoughts towards the woman a man claims to love. Anytime she appears to excel in anything, this limiting belief will come and block his perspective. The desire to dominate her, even in winning, eventually overpowers the desire to truly love and care for her as a human being with passions and potential. And this is the mindset that makes a lot of men to sabotage their wife's success directly or indirectly. There's the fear that is bred by this thought pattern that subconsciously leads to a man becoming an enemy of progress towards the woman he claims to love. Perfect love casts out fear, and that's what some marriages lack the most. A lot of noise is made about the woman's submission, yet the man can't even love his wife well because he's afraid and unhealed from past experience and controlled by narratives from the experiences of others. Controlled by narrative from the experiences of popular podcasters, controlled by narrative from the experience of bitter media hosts who appear suave and appear like they don't have any negative attachments to their perspective, and yet their perspective is rife with negative attachments. Hovering around that perspective are bitter life past experiences which they won't admit, but they will claim, like they will make this huge claim as if there's a statistical research backing their ideal, and yet there's none. Only their perspective, only something that they experienced, only something people around them experienced, people who are actually around them because they are manifestations of their perspective. The Bible says men should love their wives and that wives should submit to their husbands. But how can a man love his wife if he doesn't want her to succeed? And how can a woman fully submit to someone who is moving like a hater? She may obey out of fear, but that's not submission. That's just slavery. And slaves crave one thing above all, their freedom, and will run if they see a chance for escape. There are countless accounts of such sabotage. Even if sometimes it is even the woman who is in that wounded masculine energy and does the acts against her own man. True. In communities where women are more masculine, these instances may come from the woman's end. But as I am observing from my own location, I will give instances from here. Buchi Emecheta, famous Nigerian writer, had her first manuscript burnt by her now ex-husband. One businessman in Onitsha last year commented anonymously in a forum that he paid vandals to loot the shop he opened for his wife because her business was beginning to boom and that she was becoming cocky. But was she really? Who knows? Mind you, the man was many times richer than his wife. Another one I saw on Twitter, a guy wrote a thread on how his friend's dad told his friend that he was the one who used backdoor influence to block his wife from being accepted into a high-paying company. You would wonder how someone who claims to love someone else would be so hell-bent on making sure they fail in life. It makes you wonder whether what they say is love is really love. Well, it is love. But when love has become poisoned by a limiting belief, it moved from the realm of love into the realm of tacit hatred. Hatred disguised as love. If a man sheds his limiting beliefs and unlearns everything he heard about women, he may stand a higher chance of attracting the right woman who actually exists out of the narrative and also loving her right. If a woman can also shed her limiting beliefs, such as no man is loyal and that she cannot give her trust to someone with a schlong, she can loosen up, drop her protective, egoic masculine energy, and slip into her softer, humble, yielding femininity. If you're waiting for a magical man or woman to appear and prove your limiting beliefs wrong, that cannot readily happen if your soul is not ready to recognize such a love. When you are trapped in a limiting belief, you will be blinded by that thought pattern and you will not even believe that the woman you just met, who isn't in that category, is being honest. Your mind will convince you she's a phony and push her away, directly or indirectly. So you have to mow the garden of your mind of limiting beliefs first so you can clear the path for genuine love to appear. After all, how can you see what's right in front of you if the weeds of societal conditioning are blocking your view? How this limiting belief negatively affects the man. It affects the man such that as the man is actively sabotaging the success of his woman, he is also indirectly sabotaging his own success as well. Because if the blessings that are destined for his home, for his family, is meant to come through his wife, and he refuses and he rejects that blessing by pushing it away, by stopping the woman from getting ahead in one way or the other, or looking for ways to block the progress, he might as well destroy whatever plans of abundance that God may have destined for him in this life. Because there are things that may come into a man's life not through him directly, but through his wife. There might be connections, influences that may emanate from his wife's association or from her workplace. And through this association and influences blessings are meant to come from them. And if he blocks these blessings because he is afraid of what that success would do to her psyche or how it would affect the way she treats him, if he's afraid because of this limiting belief that is lodged somewhere deep in his subconscious, he would actively reject the blessing that God has planned for his life through his wife. So a man and a woman, when they become man and wife, they become one. It's not half plus half equal to one. It's supposed to be 1 + 1 = 1. It's meant to be two whole people coming together to become even more whole. Two whole individuals bringing together wholeness and becoming even more whole as a result. One partner devaluing the other devalues themselves. Whatever progress you sabotage from her end will blow back on you. That's like cutting your nose to spite your face. A man fighting against his wife's success is fighting against his own success. Because there are families that would not be where they are today if the woman did not accept a certain opportunity to represent her country or to work in a certain place or to be at a certain place, because that woman also has a calling on her life as well. Everyone comes into this world with a divine purpose. There is something that a man is meant to do. There is something that a woman is meant to do. Giving birth and getting married is just one of those things that we're meant to do in the world for those who are meant to do it, because there are people who are not even meant to marry or have children in this world. But there are people who are meant to have children and get married. But there are also other things. There could be something that God wants that woman to achieve in this world, just as there's something he wants her husband to also achieve. And the man standing in the way of that would be a blowback, not just on the woman, but on the man himself, because that blessing would be an overflow in his family and in his life. That generational wealth he may have been dreaming about his whole life could come from his wife, but because of fear of the unknown, fear based on what he thinks could happen, fear based on what he heard some alpha male in quote speak of, fear based on It's something that has not even happened, but he is imagining it would. He could actively stand in the way of a grand opportunity to have everything he has always wanted in his life. So the man, as he's sabotaging his wife's success, could sabotage his own success as well at the same time. Not could, but will. When a woman believes that her success is somehow, that succeeding too much is not going to augur well for her, when she has swallowed when a woman has swallowed the idea or the opinion that when she succeeds it will make her egotistical, it will increase her ego in one way or the other. When she has that at the back of her mind, she herself will be afraid of succeeding. It will make a woman to be a little less driven or motivated to pursue the things that she's meant to pursue, or to even attract the things that she's meant to attract. Because while she's busy thinking that, oh, if I succeed too much, men will not want me as much, and I want to marry, I want to have children, but if I walk towards my ambition, if I do what I came to do in this world, I may become, and I succeed in it, I may become such an achiever, and it will drive potential suitors from me. It could make a woman to be a lot less driven. It could even affect her fulfillment of her divine purpose as well. Because when she has this limiting belief at the back of her mind, when she thinks that, there's this belief that women who are over successful are cocky and men don't like such women, she's not only does she become afraid of succeeding in life and making it in life, it will make her not to be driven. And for the women that are led by this limiting belief, for instance, not only are they hindered from fully expressing their creativity to the fullest, not only does it hinder them, there are women, for instance, who are meant to do something bigger and bolder, but because they are scared of how it would affect their appeal to the world, because they want to please the world, because they want to be more appealing to men, because they think that men like certain kinds of women, because they have seen that there's this popular belief that women who do this are not going to be wife material, they allow this limiting belief to limit them from doing exactly what God had destined them to do. And before you know it, they are living their lives below par. They are living beneath the divine plan for their lives. For the woman who allows this limiting belief to run her life, she will eventually live a very limited existence, where she cannot succeed too much, where she cannot be herself too much, where she cannot be authentic and not too much, because she wants so badly to appeal to the menfolk, or she wants to be marriageable. And because she wants to be marriageable, she doesn't want to be herself too much. She doesn't want to be successful too much. She doesn't want to buy a certain car, because if she buys that car, it will intimidate men. She doesn't want to live in a certain kind of apartment, because if she lives there, it will make her unappealing. It will make her rich. It will make her look like the rich auntie, and she may become single as a result. As the feminine allows this limiting belief or limiting beliefs such as this to run her psyche, she chases the world, and her divine purpose may eventually get overlooked. Limiting beliefs are sometimes like infections that people acquire by allowing others to tell them what to do in life, by not listening to God, but rather listening to opinions from others. Opinions from people they see as alpha males. And the question is, what is stopping you from becoming an alpha male? Do you know that an alpha males by definition are leaders? They don't follow trends, they set the trend. And if you are a trend follower, what does that make you? It means you are not a leader but a follower. So you have to stand on the ground of knowing exactly what you want and not allowing people tell you what is right for you. You have to follow the divine direction for your life and not follow the direction set by those who experience something, and because they experience that thing, all of a sudden that experience should be the experience of everyone. The women who have sucked themselves into this limiting belief and other limiting beliefs, of course, because there are many. There are limiting beliefs that are misogynistic. There are some are misandry. There are some that are rooted in misandry. There are some that are rooted in all sorts of backgrounds. But they are limiting beliefs, and they come from negative sources. And the whole intention is to it limits you. It does not help you in any way to get ahead. It does not help you to upgrade yourself. It does not help you to become a higher version of yourself. It does not help you to become the person you were meant to become. Instead, it leads you, it takes you a few steps backward and limits you from fully enjoying all the blessings that you are meant to enjoy in this world. There are cases of men who stopped their wives from taking very lucrative job positions. Of course, some of them would be direct about the reason why they don't want her to take it. And some would be indirect by claiming that, oh, the job, this and that. And the whole point of not wanting her to take it is because they know that that job would become something big and that there would be a lot of profits from that work for the wife. But while the man is telling the wife not to take the job, he forgets that through that job, the family would be able to afford a whole lot more. There will be a lot more, there will be higher earnings, the opportunity to travel and leave the country whenever they want and come back. A lot of opportunities to have a more abundant existence. And the man, while he's busy letting his ego decide where his wife walks or not, by telling her that if she does not refuse the job offer, that the marriage will end, threatening thunder and brimstone. The man does not even consult God to find out whether God is the one bringing that work, that opportunity. He's busy thinking about me. What do I get out of this? How does this affect this marriage? How will this work affect her? He is acting out of fear. And of course, ego and fear, they go hand in hand. For instance, there's a case of a man who stopped his wife from taking a particular work with lots of benefits that would allow them to go wherever they wanted in the world, that would allow them to live better lives. But because of this limiting belief, he refused, and he threatened his wife that if she would accept the job, that there wouldn't be peace in his household. The wife, of course, because she wanted peace in her life and in her family, agreed and succumbed to her husband's wishes. But what this man did not realize was that this job was not from man or from the devil, but from God. And that God brought this job as an opportunity to help them with something that would soon happen. Later on, this man became ill, very, very ill, and they didn't have enough money to treat the sickness or the means to leave to travel to the country where the treatment would be more professionally delivered. And just a few months before this man was diagnosed, that job that had all the opportunities for them to travel and live better lives and earn more was presented. But because he pushed away this opportunity, he wasn't able to get the medical treatment easily, and they resorted to begging online, begging everywhere. They managed to raise some money, but it wasn't enough. And guess what? The man died. And the saddest thing is that the death was completely avoidable. God wanted to use that work, that job that he brought to his wife to ensure that that wouldn't happen. But because of fear and ego, he stopped his wife from taking the job position, and he died because of it. So this is how the masculine can sabotage his own life, because whatever he does to the woman he's married to is a blowback on him as well, because your partner is one with you, and whatever you do to your partner, you do to yourself. And why through the wife, one might ask? Why would God use the wife as the vessel to bring in such an abundance into the family? Why not bring the wealth and prosperity through the man who is the head of the home? Perhaps God saw an opportunity in which to help the man lay aside his ego and his fear and trust him a little more. Because the point wasn't to make them wealthy. It was to help them go beyond a particular level of spiritual growth into a greater level of growth. When God was bringing in that opportunity of abundance, it wasn't just for him to save the man's life. It was a lesson. It was a blessing as well as a lesson. A lesson in humbling himself and trusting more and laying aside his fears. Sometimes even blessings are lessons, and we have to see the lesson in the blessing, or so that the blessing will not become just a lesson. Take away fear and have an open mind. Listen to your heart for a change, so you can hear your intuition, unlearn everything you learned. Forget all the negatives about men or women. Focus on the possibility that the truth is out there, and that everything you want in a man or woman is already wrapped up in a man or woman somewhere. Because it is. Trust me, it is. And then go about your life. Don't wait. Don't search. Just work on yourself and your dreams, and it will come to you. If you're already married, just know that letting go of these limiting beliefs on time can right a lot of wrongs between you and your spouse. It's never too late to start over. Yes, you can start over. You can begin on a fresh slate. You can give your wife or husband the benefit of doubt that they're not those men or those women that you've heard about online. You can give her a benefit of doubt first, and then see if she proves you right or wrong. Empty your mind. Tell yourself that what those people experienced will not happen to you. Strongly believe that that is not your reality, and that your woman is your woman, and not every woman in the world. And that's it for now on Amali Speaks. Till next time. Love you, babies.